All right. Well, we can get started here. It's about three after the hour now. So wanted to welcome everyone to our webinar today. I'm really excited to be talking to you all regarding, some targeted digital campaigns that can really get you some targeted results. And I'll turn it over to JP and to Deb to talk a little bit about Solutions Now.
Sorry. I'm Deb Teen from SolutionsNOW.biz. Thank you for joining our webinar. We do the Community Quarterly magazine, which is mailed out to around 100,000 homeowners, 70,000 plus income earners, actually over 1.7 million sets of eyes a year. And then also we do community connections all around the Kalamazoo area as well. We're partnering with Accelerant for digital needs at this time. And so they are going to talk about how digital can help, and sort of with a two-pronged approach, or might be digital or print is just what suits your needs. So thank you, JP. Sorry, I didn't introduce JP. He's our he's our graphics designer and lead coordinator on all the projects. But I'll turn it back over to Addie and Guy, and thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Deb and JP. So I'll go into a little bit about what AdCellerant is. We're a technology and digital advertising company. And our mission is really to make quality digital marketing accessible to every business out there. We wanted to really bring Madison, Madison Avenue style digital technology down to Main Street. So every single business can have access to this great digital marketing that we provide. And we only partner with media companies across the United States. And we currently partner with over, I think it's about 350 now in 5 different countries and 400 plus cities. And so we've really been growing. We've been in business for the past 7 years. We were recognized as the 83rd fastest growing company in the US on the Inc. 5000 list. And we're also a preferred programmatic solution vendor of the local media consortium. So that being said, we have access to a lot of great technology, and we wanted to bring that down to you today and talk about some of the capabilities. So really, to start this today, our agenda is going to be, connecting with your customer. I think as a business, small to medium-sized business owner, the most important thing that you can do is understand what your customer's journey is like as they come to buy your products. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Some timelines for media planning, how to plan for peak seasons and different holidays. And then we'll really get into the cool stuff of some of the emerging ad tech that we have and some of the really cool digital options that we have available for your business. So, for a minute, let's go ahead and, take off our marketing hats and put on our consumer hats a little bit. We all buy things. We buy things online, we buy things offline. And thinking about the way we buy and what influences us can really help us as marketers. So, once upon a time, if you've, been in business for a long time, 15, 20 years ago, it was very easy to buy media. There were 3 traditional forms of media consumption. There was newspaper, there was broadcast, and there was radio. You just call up your rep, put in an order for the entire year, sit back, boom, you were done, and watch the leads come in. Well, flash forward to today, it looks a lot different. Media is being consumed differently. People are on multiple devices, on multiple screens all day long. So it becomes a little bit more confusing on how you reach those people and what's the most effective, way to reach those people. So if you look at how consumers are communicating today, eMarketer estimates that 6.5 of the 12 hours of time spent with media is actually spent on digital media. So to connect your brand to your brand digitally, you need to really map that consumer journey. And traditional media is still really important. I mean, you can still see 44% of the time is spent there. So that's still, where you want to spend some money as well. But you can't ignore that you need to be involved and in front of your customer digitally. So I want to go into a real world example. So, Adam is one of my really good friends at work, and he you back before we were all remote and we actually went into offices, he used to bike to work absolutely every day. And back last summer, he had a 35-pound Schwinn that he was getting that was pretty old, and he was really getting tired of riding. He complained about this a lot. So one Saturday afternoon, he was a little nostalgic and he was watching the Tour de France, and he saw a really cool bike, and it was called a Canyon. And I'm not a cyclist, I've never heard of this before, and frankly, he hadn't heard, he had heard of it before but didn't know much about it. So guess what Adam did next, because he was interested in it. He took out his phone and he Googled Canyon bikes and went to their website. The next day he goes into work and he's checking out some of his favorite news sites, and he all of a sudden gets retargeted with an ad for a Canyon bike. That makes him continue thinking about the bike. The next day he gets on Facebook to check, his news feed. All of a sudden he sees an ad on Facebook for this Canyon bike again. So now it's really in his head, and he's really trying to justify the ROI on buying this bike. He's thinking, okay, if I bike to work every day, that saves me, X amount of dollars in gas, and that could possibly go towards a bike purchase. Or if he gives up his cup of gourmet coffee once a week, maybe he can make it work. The very next day, he sits down to check his personal email, and he is served a direct email with a special offer on a Canyon bike. And all of a sudden, he is now ready to buy, and he flips the switch and makes that purchase. So you think about this, you see that it is mapping that customer's journey. This is a typical sales funnel here you've probably all seen before, but it is so important to reach people across all stages of this journey, from becoming aware of something all the way down to them taking action and becoming a loyal customer. And digital media is really effective across the entire customer journey. The awareness, that was when he was when he saw that Canyon bike on the Tour de France, he became aware of it. So he saw that on TV. Then when he was hit up on Facebook and the news sites, those were really when he was interested. And then what made him purchase was, finally that tip of the iceberg was that email. And so it's really important to reach people across all stages of the sales funnel to ensure that you're moving people down the funnel and you're constantly keeping it full. Would Adam have bought that bike if he only saw the ad on Facebook? Maybe, but the reach and the frequency really help that out quite a bit. So it's important that to note that all of this works together. How does this pair with traditional media like our print product? It really all works together. So, with so many channels and platforms in marketing, it's really important to choose the right mix to reach the right customer at the right time. And in 2020, that's really hard to do. It's not as easy as it was 20 years ago, as I said, when there was only a few different types of media. So that's why we're here to help you navigate this space and make some really great recommendations based on what your goals are as a business. So these are some interesting stats. We really think it's important that you fill that sales funnel from awareness all the way down to interest. And what's interesting is that 32% of small businesses invest in social media only. Again, as I said before, would Adam have bought that bike if he only saw it on Facebook? Maybe, but you're missing out on key steps in your customer's path to purchase if you are advertising only in social media. But here's the interesting thing. 88% of consumers research online before buying offline. Now that stat is probably skewed a little bit this year with the pandemic, but for the most part, people are doing a ton of, no matter what, people are now doing, 88% are researching online before buying online in 2020. So, you want to reach them when they're places other than just Facebook, whether, they're researching driving directions to your store or they're Googling a bike they saw on TV. It's not just on social. So now we'll kind of move into, how do we know where to put your marketing dollars and efforts? How do we know what's working and how do we track success? So The very first thing that we ask when we're developing plans for your business is what your goals are. And depending on what your goals are, that is how we're going to determine what tactics are going to make the most sense for your business. And it's really important if you're doing digital advertising to map those goals to different digital metrics. You know, what do you want to happen online for your business? Do you want people to spend more time on your website? Do you want people to spend more, view different, more pages per visit on your website? Do you want new users to your website? Do you want more phone calls? Do you want a form fill to occur? Do you want a transaction to occur online? What's the most important page on your website? What's the second most important page on your website? And it's important to think through as a consumer of your business. Can you pick 5 pages on your site that really maps your customer's journey? What would they normally do if they were going to, purchase something? What's kind of the roadmap that they would take in order to get to that purchase? So I think that it's really important to figure those things out ahead of time. That way we can really track key performance indicators as that campaign is going on. Now it's important to look out and map out what your particular industry or business's peak type of time of opportunity is. Look at where your peak times are, and then when do you need people to make purchases? These can be really unique for your market, and knowing what kind of media to use to drive these to drive people there is just as important. So you can see here that the what's in red is when you need to take action. That's when people are really purchasing. So people in the automotive space are purchasing a lot in November, December, January. So when do they need to become probably interested in that October timeframe, but then they need to become aware of you back in August and September. So it really depends on the kind of business that you're in. Retail is really hot during the holidays. But if you look at something like, higher education, their peak time when they need people is more the summer, because they're going in, the spring and the summer, because they're going into their busy season in the fall when people are going to be back on campus. Healthcare is a totally different animal as well. They're always on, especially right now going through the pandemic that we're going through. So, making sure that you're backing into your marketing and making sure you're advertising early enough to drive people during your peak seasons into your store, or keep people entertained, or interested in your business during your off seasons as well. So picking your tactics, these are just a handful of the different kinds of digital tactics that are out there. And yes, this is very overwhelming, and it's there's a lot of stuff going on here. We don't expect you to know everything about all these tactics that are up there. In fact, you don't have to know much of anything about that, because that's why we're here. That's why we're the experts here. We just need to understand your goals, and then we can help develop these tactics and pick these tactics that would work best for your business. So digital media is effective across the entire customer journey. It not only delivers excellent ROI efficiency itself, but it also makes other media spend work harder. So what we mean by this is that if you're advertising in print, digital media is going to reinforce what people saw there through their desktop, laptops, tablets, cell phones. We saw a pie chart a few slides back. 56+% of media time is spent in digital. So a mix between traditional and digital can almost guarantee you're reaching your ideal customers. So now we're going to get into the fun part here. We've mapped out kind of the customer journey and decided that half the time is spent with digital. So let's talk about some of the digital platforms that we've seen really emerging recently, and ones that we would really, really want to help you get involved in and work with. So the ones we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk a little bit about search. We're going to talk about display advertising. We're going to talk about streaming TV, which you might have heard of as OTT, and also mobile advertising, some cool mobile advertising techniques that we have. So navigating Google search, this is a big one here. I think Why is search so important? So in the past, businesses ran ads in the yellow pages and other traditional advertising vehicles. Prospects, what they did was view the ad in the yellow pages, and then they called or visited the store. Now, think about how you find things that you need. How did you find out about a new business? How did you find out driving directions? How did you find out about phone numbers? We all Googled it. Google has become a verb. We've Googled something. So it's very important that you don't need to understand the ins and outs of everything when it comes to Google, but you have to have or work with someone to have a strategy. Your cell phone is your new yellow pages and it's your new phone book. So I'm going to go into how to show up on these pages because it's not as hard as it seems, and it's crucial for your customer journey to be found on Google. So there are multiple different ways to make sure your business is showing up as people look for services you offer and can provide. So there's really three different types. You can turn this search engine results page into really three different sections. And the top sections you see there where it says paid search, those people are paying their way up to the top of the search engine results page. So you see it says ad on there. That's exactly what it is. So those people have paid for keywords related to HVAC in Denver, Colorado to appear up there at the top. Those are a great place to be. There's very high conversion rates with them. But just like with if you rent a house, if you stop paying your rent, you're going to get evicted. So it's kind of the same thing when it comes to paid search. If you stop paying Google, you're not going to show up there anymore. Now, the local search and the organic search, those are a little bit different. You can't pay your way into those places. You can't pay Google to show up there, but you can work with a company such as ours to develop techniques and follow Google's best practices to ensure that you are showing up higher in those locations. So local search has to do with what we call that 3-pack underneath the maps that you see listed there. And then organic search is just going to be the listings that come underneath that. And both of them are very important. Local search really deals with categories of businesses. Organic search is really based on the keywords that you are searching for. So today we're going to just do a brief overview of local search engine optimization because I think it's one of the most underutilized digital tactics, and it's one of the most important tactics that we can use. And it's very, very affordable. So it's a no-brainer that any business that wants to be found needs to be using local SEO. And it's really just geared towards your mobile and your tablets. And, this is where if you are a restaurant owner and you have a great Italian restaurant, it would be you're showing up in that 3-pack when someone Googles restaurants near me or good Italian near me. And what we do is we make sure on the back end that all your directories and listings and everything on all these different directories across the web that you might not deem important, but Google deems important, it makes sure that everything is correct. Because if there's any misinformation on there or they don't match up, Google's going to ping you and move you to the bottom of the list. So we just make sure everything's cleaned up on the back end to be sure that you have the best chance possible of showing up in these 3-packs. Just kind of some stats here. There's been an over a 900% increase in near me and location-based searches since 2017. And mobile devices are expected to influence about $1.4 trillion in local sales by next year. So it's really important to invest in these strategies. They are not very expensive to do. They are a few $100s a month in order to make sure that your business is assured to be found in these local searches. So something to really think about there. Free tools, we have a lot of free tools that, Deb and JP can help you out with. We can do a free SEO audit. And what a free SEO audit is you can go in and request for our team at AdCeleron to look into your website and see what recommendations that we have to improve it for search engine optimization. We'll tell you what's going on that's great, and we'll also tell you what's not so great and what we would recommend to improve. So I have listed out a few other sites on here that I thought were interesting. One is a Think with Google. That's a good site to go to where you can test the speed of your website, and you can also track Google Trends and different shopping insights that you might have. And then if you ever want to research some of your competitors, websites such as SpyFu or SEMrush are really good ones to go and just kind of see what your competitors might be bidding on in the search engine marketing space. So we'll share this deck with you afterwards to make sure that you have access to these. So now we're going to move into display and what we like to call audience extension. So this is also referred to as programmatic advertising. And, when we say we can reach your exact target market anywhere and everywhere customers are consuming digital content, we really absolutely mean that. So, there's all these different websites out there. And whenever, for example, ESPN. ESPN does not have a rep in every single market in the United States selling the inventory for that small town or that market. What they're doing is they're putting their inventory up to auction and we're bidding on it and then adding in different data elements in order to target the right person at the right time. So it's really great because it's very much like the stock market, and you just go in and bid on it because ESPN is going to lose money if their inventory goes unsold, and it's not profitable for them to have an employee in every single market selling that inventory. So it's great to be able to, and every single website out there, in the world, usually has this kind of programmatic advertising on it. So that's how we can target your exact consumer at the right time. So looking at the different targeting capabilities that we have. So this is the awesome part about programmatic display is that we have so many different targeting capabilities. So, one type of targeting capability is content targeting. So we can target people who are viewing content relevant to the target consumer. So if you are, if you're a concert, if you're a concert hall or you're a entertainment venue, you can target only on entertainment sites. If you're a real estate company or you're a realtor, you can target only on real estate related information. If you are a restaurant, you can target people only looking at information on restaurants or food. So that's targeting based on content. Very similar to if you've ever bought newspaper advertising, advertising in certain sections of the newspaper. That's the same thing, only digitally. We can also target behavioral, I cannot say that today, behavioral targeting. And so that's targeting based on people's behaviors and tracked interest online. So, everything you do online is really tracked for good or bad. So in everything that you really do with a credit card and purchases you make, all of that's tracked. And then people can go in and, ad seller, we can go in and buy that targeting and make sure that your business is showing up on there. So we can target people that are interested in ice skating. We can target people that have purchased a new furnace in the past 12 months. We can target people that have a household income of over $100,000 a year. Those are all different ways that we can target behaviorally. We also have demographic targeting we can do. So that's just targeting specific ages or income or gender when you're trying to reach different consumers. We can day part the ad so we can control when the user can see a message. So a lot of times this is used with different restaurants if they want to promote a lunch special only running from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We also never run any display ads between midnight and 5 a.m. as we find that is the hours of the day that we see the most robotic traffic, so non-human traffic. So we just don't run there, just as a safekeeping. We can also target, be it geographically. We can, and we'll get into this a little bit more with mobile, but we can target, as large as the world. And from there, we can do a state, we can do a city, we can do a zip code, we can do a radius around a location. Anything you can imagine, we can probably target. So that's one of the great things about digital advertising, is just the flexibility when it comes to geographic targeting. So this next slide just talks about, as I said, I mentioned bot traffic earlier, and that's just one of the great things about working with us, is that we put inventory quality first and foremost. So we are making sure that prevention is being taken at every step of the way. So one of the brand safety solution we use is called Peer 39. I'm not going to get into a lot of this today, but just wanted you to be aware that we put a lot of different fraud protection on there to make sure that we're only accessing the best inventory quality possible. All right, this is getting into the fun part. This is our device. Next, we're going to talk about our device ID technology, and this is almost a little creepy, but it's a creepy cool product that will definitely be able to be utilized to help you out and to gain business. So we call this device ID targeting. And with this, we can create custom shapes around different locations and target people who have been in those locations within within a time frame you define. That could be as early as 3 days ago, and it can be as far back as 12 months ago. So you kind of define that historic window of time, and then we extrapolate devices that have been in those locations during those period of times and serve them ads in real time now, no matter where they might be. You might be thinking, how in the world can you do that? Well, we can do it through through location-based services on apps. So I'm sure all of you read that mortgage link terms and conditions that you have to sign off on whenever you download a new app on your phone, right? Yeah, none of us read those. However, in those, you are signing off, you're allowing that app to sell your location, your location, and where you're at. So every few minutes, your phone will ping up to the cloud where your location is, and data providers come in and purchase that, such as ourselves, and we then can target ads to those people. So it sounds really scary, but it's really, there's no privacy acts that are being violated. We don't know anything about those people other than what that device ID is, and it's all scrambled up, so we don't even see that ourselves. But we can, really get granular in that targeting and get people who have been in specific locations and target them now. It's really cool that we can do. What's also neat is then we can also provide a foot traffic attribution report after we serve this campaign. So what that means is that after you run this device ID campaign, at the end of the 6 months that you ran it, we can look back and see how many people we targeted with your ad that physically walked into your store. So, and honestly, even with the pandemic, if you're not open or you're only doing curbside pickup, we can still target the people. We can still tell you the number of people that came for a curbside pickup. Or if you have a list of a CRM of people that have made purchases, we can match those back to devices and make sure that we can show some true ROI on our campaign. So that's one of the really cool mobile emerging techs that we have out there available now. So now we're going to get into we're not going to go into everything video, but we're going to do a high overview of some of the video options that we have out there now. And, I'm a shameless cord cutter. I'm not saying cable or broadcast is gone, but I mean, I'm sure many of you have Netflix, Hulu, a Fire Stick, or some sort of streaming device out there. So we're going to go into talking about how businesses like you can serve on these platforms and get into your consumer's mind. Remember, a lot of people are spending time here now because, especially this year, because the pandemic's brought everyone inside and, just streaming a lot more information. So, how are people getting their video content? There's really, a few different ways that people are getting their video content digitally. So they're getting it through YouTube, through pre-rolled video, through Facebook or Instagram, and through streaming TV. So the first one I'm going to talk about here is YouTube. And YouTube is really is the second largest search engine in the world after Google. So tons of people are spending time on Google or on YouTube. People are, I mean, if, I think my husband lays in bed every night and searches different, how to, home remedy projects for different things around the house and how he can do it himself through these different videos. So 5% of total time online is spent on YouTube. And that may seem like a low number, but when you think about the amount of time that's spent online, 5% in one location or one website is huge. 52% of viewers have taken action after watching videos online, and 35% of YouTube viewers have purchased something they saw advertised on YouTube. So what's great about advertising on YouTube is that it's called, we sell what's called YouTube TrueView ads. So that means, I'm sure you probably have all seen it on YouTube. You go to watch a video and there's a commercial that comes on, but you have the ability to skip it after 5 seconds. What is great about it is if you skip that video in that commercial anytime during it, you do not have to pay for it. So the only time you pay for it is when someone watches it in its entirety. So that's great. I mean, can you imagine if you have a 30-second spot that you're running and someone skips you at 29 seconds? They've basically seen that whole commercial, but you're still not going to pay for it. So it's a really great, great way to advertise and really get a lot of bang for your buck with it. All those targeting capabilities that we talked about for display advertising can also be utilized for YouTube. So, we really recommend it as a great way to get in front of your target audience as well. And probably the most emerging tech out of the video category right now is streaming TV. And streaming TV, you might also know it as OTT or over-the-top television. So, as TV audiences are becoming more fragmented and time shifted, advertisers have to stay in front of their target audience, which the best way to do this is through streaming TV or OTT advertising. So streaming TV is just going, or OTT is just going over the top of a cable provider and plugging directly into the internet. So that's that's using either a smart TV that naturally has the internet connection built into it, or that's using something like using a Roku, a Fire Stick, a Chromecast, anything like that. People are watching OTT content on an average of 1 hour and 40 minutes every day. And this stat was pulled before the pandemic began, so I can imagine that has only skyrocketed from there. And what's great about streaming TV is that the ads are bought digitally, not really the way television's bought. So you can target your specific geography that you want, and then you can pick the type of person by their behavior and what they like to do, and then target them whenever they're watching streaming TV. So it's really convenient and extremely targeted. And then this is a really interesting slide. So, some people are like, well, I don't cut the cord, I still have cable TV, yada, yada, yada. Well, that's great. And that's probably true. However, 41% of individuals reached through streaming TV or through OTT are unique and not able to be reached by ads on linear TV. So can you imagine if you don't do streaming TV and you only do traditional TV or cable television? That's fine, but realize you're missing out on 41% of the community that could become your potential customer. So I think that's really important to think about whenever you're making these decisions. So if you've got a video made, this is a great place to put your advertising dollars and really reach the right people at the right time. So, just some questions to ask yourself, as a business owner. Does your current marketing mix engage your consumers at every step of that marketing funnel that we talked about earlier? And are you confident that your current execution team that you're using is an expert in the deployment and management of every product in the media mix? We understand this can be really difficult to do alone and to try to figure out alone. And, we just want to say, make sure that you're connected with people who understand the data and the story of what's going on and how we can help you. And I am confident that Solutions Now and AdCelery could be those people for you, and we could definitely help you out. So, here's some information on, we can definitely do a free digital marketing analysis for you. Phone number is listed here. Email address is listed there. Please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you. We'll definitely be following up with all of you, and really appreciate your time today. I know that you've been listening to my voice now for almost 40 minutes talking nonstop. So appreciate your attention and time today. If you want to drop any questions into the chat box, feel free right now. If not, Deb and JP will just follow up with you afterwards.
Hi, it's Deb Teen again. I'm going to put the video up here. We know that this is a very complicated issue, and we have a lot of customers. We're small business owners, and we know there's so much to take in, and that's what JP specializes in, is taking all of that information that we need and putting it down into a very easy format that we can analyze for you on a monthly basis and get with you. And the greatest thing about Accelerant is they give us all the information that we need to make a good decision for your type of business. And then our team here locally helps you to suss it all out. And that's JP's sort of expertise. So
yeah, we know that that was a lot of information. We appreciate you guys sitting through, and that's really just the tip of the iceberg. But we mentioned earlier, you don't have to know it all. You don't have to learn it all. That's what we're here for. So don't feel like you're overwhelmed or you need to be overwhelmed. Reach out. The more that we learn about your business and what your goals are, we can definitely put together a package that's tailored specifically to you, to meet your goals, to reach your customer audience, and we handle that for you. So we look forward to speaking with you. Please reach out for a free digital marketing analysis, and we would love to help you grow your business.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Are we clear?
From that part, yeah.
Okay.